Good afternoon, all. In previous lecture, we learned with the structure and mechanism of the contraction of the skeletal muscle. Mechanism of the contraction of the skeletal muscle in that from nervous system the impulse is transmitted. Okay, these points you remember. From nervous system the impulse is transmitted through the neurons. Nerve impulse is coming in contact with the neuromuscular junction NMJ. Secrete the one neurotransmitter that is known as acetylcholine. That neurotransmitter is now entered in the sarcoplasm. Stimulate the T tubule. Secrete the calcium ions from it. Simultaneously, at the same time, mitochondria also release the ATP. So ATP bind to the ATP binding site on the myosin head and calcium is bind to the troponin C. So due to troponin C connected with the calcium ion, tropomyosin is contracted and myosin binding site on the actin filaments are open. ATP is breakdown on the myosin filament and due to that release of the energy, it is now bind with the actin filament. This is known as cross bridge formation. So you have to remember cross bridge formation in the absence of ATP. Now myosin filament pull the thin filaments towards the H band, so both the thin filaments come close to each other, and this is known as muscle contraction. And you have to remember this thing that H band, I band and sarcomere become short and last H band and I band disappear. So you can see only Z line and M line at last in fully contracted stage. Both the A bands come close to each other. Fine. And reverse process. So this is known as sliding filament theory. Fine. Okay. Now few points related to muscle. Okay, fatigue muscle and red muscle and white muscle, I want to tell you about this. Understand it. In anaerobic condition, the muscle undergoes anaerobic respiration, and due to anaerobic respiration in muscles, lactic acid form. How that you know? That pyruvic acid is now directly undergoes the reductional phase, okay, with the help of lactate dehydrogenase enzyme and form the lactic acid. Lactic acid is accumulated in the muscle, leads to pain and reduce the contraction efficiency. If we give the impulse to the muscle for contraction, but muscle is unable to contract because lactic acid is accumulated in the muscle fiber. This is known as fatigue muscle or tired muscle. Now, what happened afterwards? This lactic acid is entered in liver and breakdown. So it is converted into glucose back. Muscle regain its contraction efficiency. After fatigue, we will take the rest, and after few days our muscles become normal. How? So the lactic acid is now entered in the liver, and in liver it breaks and converted into glucose back. And you know that glucose is simplest sugar. It gives us the energy by doing the aerobic respiration procedure. As a result, lactic acid amount decreases in the muscle regain its contraction efficiency. So, skeletal muscle and visceral muscle are fatigable, whereas cardiac muscle is non-fatigable. So this is about the anaerobic respiration. red muscle and white muscle. Now here we will discuss one by one each and every points of it. High amount of myoglobin. Actually, myoglobin is muscle protein. Same way in our blood we have hemoglobin. In our blood we have hemoglobin. Similar to that in muscle myoglobin is there. So red muscles consist high amount of the myoglobin, whereas in white muscles less amount of myoglobin. High number of mitochondria and low number of endoplasmic reticulum, whereas here opposite, less number of mitochondria and high number of endoplasmic reticulum. Red muscles are known as aerobic muscles. So it is non-fatigable, whereas white muscles are anaerobic muscles. Fatigable. And last one is the example of it. Wing muscles of birds. You know that birds has wings. So in this wing, bird can fly for a prolonged distance. So for prolonged distance, muscles are not tired. So wing muscles of the birds are red muscles, whereas eye muscles of human. Suppose example, if you can rapidly move your eye in any direction for few seconds, immediately you feel giddiness. Okay, so that is known as white muscle. So please remember, red muscle, highest amount of the myoglobin, muscle protein, and in white muscle low amount of it. And for doing the mode function, red muscles consist high amount of the mitochondria, so it provides the more energy to do the work. As you know that the more simplest cell, the less number of mitochondria are there. So simple cell require less amount of the energy to do the activity. So this is all about the muscle, skeletal muscle and types of the muscle. Fine. So this topic is over. Okay. Let us discuss with the skeletal system. skeletal system forms internal network of the body. It forms the internal network. Yes, we are standing, sitting, running, jumping, lying, whatever. The movement as well as locomotion, we are doing that. This is due to the skeletal system. Skeletal system composed of bones and cartilages. Skeletal system, it forms the internal network of the body. It is helpful. It is correlated with the muscular system. So due to the muscular movement, you know that skeletal system consists bones and cartilage. The hard structure known as bone and the movable bone is known as cartilage. For example, ear pinna, external ear, the tip of the nose and the glottis. Three things are cartilages. At the time of the birth of child, in newborn baby, all the bones are cartilaginous in form. So we say that newborn baby consists all papery bones. Gradually, the calcium and phosphorus, these minerals are accumulated inside the bone. Gradually, bone become compact, become hard. So many bones of the body can be converted from the cartilage to the hard bone, but ear pinna, tip of the nose and glottis, before they were cartilaginous, right now these are cartilaginous and they will be cartilaginous throughout life. So they are not converted into compact one, right? So we have two types of the structures in the skeletal system, bone and cartilage. Okay, now we will talking about the bone in detail. But before taking this, I want to tell you about the functions of the skeletal system. It provides shape. It provides shape to the body. So the upper limb, lower limb, face shape is due to skeletal system. It provides support to the body. Okay. provides protection to important visceral organs like eyes, brain, heart, and lungs, etc. You know that eyes are protected in the skull, brain is protected in the head region, fine. Lungs are protected in the rib cage, and sternum can protect the heart. So visceral organs, important organs of our body are protected. The middle soft portion of the long bone, it is known as bone marrow. So bone marrow provides the site for the formation of the all the blood cells, RBCs, WBCs, and platelets all. So it is associated with the muscles. You know that two bones are joined together. Two bones are joined together and form the joint. So we have so many joints in the body. So it is associated with the muscular system as well as muscles, and it provides the movement as well as locomotion. So without muscles, no movement of the joint, and without the joint, no movement of the muscles. Right? And it stores important minerals like calcium and phosphate. So calcium and phosphate are structural components of bones and teeth. Fine. So this is about the functions of the skeletal muscle. So number of the bones in the skeletal muscle, we will take it in the next lecture.